Global
Cash
community,
Global
what's the
TV
deal? What's
subscribe.
the deal? Today I got another non-biased compilation of TikToks, non-biased news and media that they not gonna show you in the mainstream. Drop in the comments how you feel about these narratives, and we gonna get to this real history, the ideology that the system gave us. We gonna detach from that and get to the real. Let's get to it. Hit that like button. Sub
Cash
up.
Global TV
Full
subscribe.
recognition to their smart glasses, so anybody can literally just look at you on the street and instantly know who you are. Dude, this is obviously insane. According to this new report from the New York Times, Meta is building a new feature that's called name tag for their Ray-Ban smart glasses. This new feature would allow anybody wearing the glasses to look at you, and their AI assistant would instantly identify you. And here's what might make this a little bit worse, because an internal Meta memo was just leaked, and it says this. I'm literally gonna quote this. "We will launch during a dynamic political environment where many civil society groups that we would expect to attack us would have their resources focused on other concerns." Okay. And this isn't just theoretical, because Harvard students already proved that you can connect Ray-Ban Meta glasses to facial recognition software and identify random strangers in public. And by the way, Meta sold over 7 million Ray-Ban glasses just... Whoa. And by the way, Meta sold over 7 million of these glasses just last year alone. The ACLU is coming out and they're saying themselves that facial recognition is a dire threat.
Satellites now that can literally beam in Wi-Fi, so that whether you have Wi-Fi in your home or not, they can start to track you. We are now moving into building out the kind of surveillance systems that can literally track, identify, and integrate with not only our existing weaponry, but ultimately autonomous weaponry. And all those systems put you in what I call the panopticon. So we saw in the Middle East with the first war with Iran, we saw 11 leaders out of 12 sort of top leaders in science and government assassinated, because they're literally tracking everyone, and they can identify them and track them. And then you have invisible weaponry that can then take them out, or, can identify missile strikes.
Seems like no matter what, we're in a surveillance state 100% all the way around. Is there any way around it? Let me know. Is there any way around it?
Newspaper readers or news consumers that those 11 Iranian officials were targeted with human intelligence.
A second scientist has been killed on the front porch of his California home. This guy right here, Carl Grillmeyer. He passed away on February the 16th, and he was an astronomer. So just after 6 a.m. Monday, February the 16th, detectives with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department responded to reports of an assault with a deadly weapon in Llano. On his front porch, they found 67-year-old astrophysicist Carl Grillmeyer suffering from a gunshot wound, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, this is strange, but it gets stranger because just a couple of months ago, we had another scientist killed, Nuno Felipe. He died on December the 16th. So he dies on the 16th, and then 2 months later, he dies on the 16th of February. Now, Nuno was a plasma specialist and professor at MIT, but they both were two respected scientists versed in planetary catastrophes. And they both were shot 2 months after each other, one on the front porch and then one in his foyer. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I see a pattern. This man was studying asteroids and comets that posed a threat to Earth. And this one was a plasma scientist doing the same kind of work. And remember, we had 3i Atlas that was supposed to be near the Earth in December. And now we have a comet called MAPS. And the comet MAPS is in the constellation Cetus, which is like Leviathan, a sea monster. A suspended NOAA satellite chief warns of threats to federal science programs. We also know that Kash Patel just fired a bunch of people in the unit that studies threats in the U.S. So now we have these comets that somewhat pose a threat to Earth, and then 2 scientists die.
Individuals like this guy, information dies with them, and anything that they were studying on currently and technology they possessed, information dies with them. But
this all gives me the movie Don't Look Up vibes. We pretty much have the same administration that's in that movie, and then we have this threat and nobody cares, or nobody's watching.
What is the point of the Masons? We see all the symbols, the pyramids, the one eye. As a matter of fact, the last time I was in Washington, D.C., I just was looking at Google Earth, trying to find a place to eat, and I noticed all the roads line up into like pyramids, triangles.
13 of our founders are Freemasons. It's a fraternal organization. It's for men. Started Scotland, London, 1700 time period, and they have their own rituals and processes they work through. I moved it with the the Cristero War in Mexico. They were behind that. You'll see Jay-Z and famous rappers or Prince Hall Freemason. But again, think of that, against cross and crown. It's against the church and it's against right order.
How do you get higher up?
You progress through, and then they reveal the great architect of the universe, which from inside reports, great architect of the universe is.
I do not know that answer right now, but I will do everything in my power to get that information for you. Please hold.
Be abundantly clear about this. When you fear, you're not getting through the gates. See, Christianity, Islam, they both teach you if you don't do this, you will be punished. So people are actually being righteous, not because it's the right thing to do, but because they fear. When you have fear, your chakras change, your vibration changes. You're not doing it for the right reason.
Slide here, the cult of Baal image drawn by Dylan Monroe. And this shows you, looking at the top here, this shows you the costumes that these groups have worn so that you would never see the actuality below the costume. And so they've hidden themselves inside of the kings, inside the royalty, inside the ruling groups and empires that have controlled and steered humanity.
Does anybody really listen to the words of the Red Hot Chili Peppers song Californication, considering that it was written almost 25 years ago?
Psychic spies from China try to steal your mind's elation, and little girls from Sweden dream of silver screen quotation. It's the edge of the world in all of Western civilization. The sun may rise in the east, at least it's settled in a final location. Hey, our Sergeant very well to break the spell of aging. Celebrity skin is this your chin, or is that war you're waging? Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. In Cobain, can you hear the spin singing songs off station to station? And now the road's not far away, it's Californication. Only the river, the grave control the population. Live real life and bend down.
Not look like it, but I for sure was a big fan of him, and I'm from Cali. The more he works here different in 2026. So the thing is, the direct energy weapons have an issue with blue. Blue repels them. So you were putting blue on the top of their roof to allegedly entertain purposes only. Can't get into it too much, but if you know, you know.
Project High Jump, 1946 to 1947, was the end of the war. British and American and even Canadian forces went to Antarctica with weapons and Air Force. And you know what? They lost. But against who? 55 Americans died in that post-World War II attack. This was Neuschwabenland. This was the Fourth Reich. And they have weapons and vehicles that can fly into space, that were designed and given to them by those beings from Aldebaran. And this is a significant force, people, because I know from working in South Africa and South America that there are huge German contingents waiting for this to happen. They're in Chile, Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, South Africa, Namibia. They're all waiting. So this is not supposition. This is a fact.
Okay, remember how it's illegal to keep crows as pets? Well, this Russian man, maybe in Russia they do things different. Check out what this guy has going with this freaking crow. Mushrooms. They got good vision, man. Holy cripers. Beautiful creature, man. And, you know, it looks black, but they actually are blue feathered. If you get the right lighting on them, they're actually blue. I'm serious.
Начал метаться из стороны в сторону. Может быть, что-то и заметил. Сейчас ближе подойдем. Можете взять гриб. Но я его пока не вижу. Может быть, он заметил.
Oh,
Давай. А, вот.
where's the mushroom? How did he spot that?
Дай грибок. Ой, ты брал! Молодец!
Good boy, man.
Я думал, ты сам съешь. Ладно. На, ножку забрать.
Oh, he's eating it.
Умничка. Все, иди прячь.
Wow. So the trick is, if you have a bill, you can put money in your hand and have seeds in your hand. You teach a bunch of crows to bite the money first, and then you open your hand and give them seeds. You're training them to bring you money. You can do this, but you're not supposed to keep them as pets. But it's not like dolphins, where you're literally not even allowed to interact with them outside of an approved, you know, like SeaWorld. At least crows, you can, you know, befriend them, but you cannot keep them as pets, which is shocking because you could literally keep a bunch of weird stuff as a pet, but not a crow. Why? I love crows, man. Plus, crows can remember your face and can tell their friends, their peers, their children, their little hatchlings, they can tell them what you look like. They can transfer knowledge and information. I don't know, through their brainwaves, or I'm sure it's not from cawing. Like, caw, like you can't really, that doesn't really tell you anything. It's got to be psychic. So I'll be the first to say it. Crows are psychic. They're high vibrational beings. They're very smart. Do not mess with a crow. Be nice to them. They'll remember you forever. And they might bring you a friggin' diamond ring they find on the ground or something. I mean, there's stories you wouldn't even believe. So love animals, love creatures, and absolutely incredible video out of, what is this? Vladivostok, Russia. Come on. Comment for more anime.
Continent on Earth, from the Great Pyramid of Giza to Machu Picchu to the temples of Angkor Wat. One pattern keeps appearing. They all align perfectly along a single invisible line that wraps around the planet, a line some researchers call the World Energy Grid, ancient builders thousands of miles apart. No contact, no shared language, no modern tools, yet they built monuments with perfect geometry, aligned to the same coordinates. Coincidence? Or a design far older than recorded history? When these sites are mapped together, a hidden pattern appears, a network of temples, pyramids, and megaliths forming exact geometric ratios, the same patterns found in sound frequencies and magnetic fields. It's as if the ancients knew the Earth itself was alive, and these temples were built to channel its energy. Modern scientists studying these regions have detected electromagnetic spikes, bursts of energy that match the placement of these sacred sites. The same pattern Nikola Tesla described when he said, "Earth itself is a conductor of energy." But here's where it gets even stranger. Ancient texts describe the planet as a living grid, a web of power used to open gates to the stars. In Egypt, they called it the path of the gods. In South America, the lines of the sun. In China, the dragon veins. Different names, different eras, same design. Were they all following the same blueprint? A global map passed down from a forgotten civilization.
So why is it in the late 1800s and early 1900s we had technology like this, and it's documented and on camera? Look at the mechanics on that. Look at the machine. This is not a new world technology. This is old world technology. We've always had this. They just took it away from us and they reset us time after time. And we're going through a new reset right now, where they're going to make us forget about money and the paper money, and we're going to all go digital. And our lives are going to be controlled more than ever right now. By 2028, we will have forgot our true purpose, and we will have forgot about money, and we will all be controlled and trapped within the cryptocurrency, within digitalized life. Look at this guy in an electric wheelchair, guys. This is in the 1800s. So what? What are they trying to tell us that Darwin made electric coming into early 1900s? When there's people out there that always knew the true meaning of life and free energy. They were always exploring in different situations. They just controlled it from us. We wasn't allowed to get our hands on any of this technology. It's been trapped and it's been taken away from us. They just drip feed us little bits and give it to us. Technology has always been here, guys. Wake up. We've been reset time after time.
You always refer back to the architecture and the time span. They say certain things were built like Yankee Stadium, being built in 250 days with all that granite and everything when they had horseback and buggy. Things just don't make sense. The architecture was a lot better than it is now with things a lot more. So what's really going on? What's the hidden agenda? Let me know. We gonna find out together. That's why I get a little perturbed. I tries to argue me about the Wright brothers invented, whoever invented the Thomas Edison invented the light bulb and all that. Get out, cut it out, cut it.
Existed long before Tesla and the new wave of hybrid cars. Back in the early 1900s, electric cars were incredibly popular. 1/3 of all cars in the United States were electric. Today, it's only less than 1%. So what happened? The government and oil industries saw electric vehicles as a threat to their profits. These industries had invested heavily in gasoline technology and infrastructure. To protect their interests, they conspired to suppress electric cars. They used their influence to introduce laws and regulations.
The Apukunak Tianan, also known as the Abode of the Gods. Located about 8 to 10 miles from the city of Cusco, Peru, this site features large stone figures, hand-carved directly into the limestone rock of the mountain.
This ancient church wasn't built. It was carved from solid rock. This is Beit Georgis, one of the world's most remarkable structures. Created in the 12th century, it was cut from a single block of volcanic stone. Builders carved downward from the top. One mistake would ruin everything. Hidden beneath Lalibela, it remains one of history's greatest engineering feats.
Say there are witches in the mountains of Escazú, Costa Rica. The witch cave is there, up there at the point.
That's where they say that the witch used to live.
So I came up here with a couple Ticos I met. Do people still go up there?
Yeah, they do.
Who said they knew the mountains?
Actually, if you look at it, it kind of looks like a tiny house.
We pulled out a drone. Let's see what this drone picks up in the mountains of Escazú. They didn't find any witches, but they found something that warrants more investigation. That does not look like rock, man. That's round. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
Look at those marks on it.
Yeah, those are straight lines. There are no straight lines or perfect circles in nature. That does not look like a rock. That looks like the foundations of a castle. What the hell are those?
There is like this pillar coming out of it.
That looks like a foundation.
If I get close here, there's actually like a hole.
That looks like a cave to me.
I'm sure that the whole thing might be hollow inside.
A cave with a trail. Is that a trail at the bottom?
There's a trail, and look.
Tom was walking up there. Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
What the hell is in this weird mountain? Now, where is that in relation to where we are right now? In this very protected country still covered in jungle.
It's right there. This mountain is right there.
I don't even know what to say at this point.
I'm alive. I'm alive. And you're all witnesses. Our goals are 3. 1, removing the...
Goyim.
1, removing the... 1,
Hey.
remove... 1, removing...
So this is 100% proof that he is 0.00000000001% alive. And I haven't contacted my expert fact checker today, but something tells me that this is completely normal with these sleeves. So I'm just going on good vibes here. Benny gives some really good vibes, and I just want to, vibe in that kind of vibration, if you know what I mean. Because of course, anyone that looks like this is 100% trustworthy. But everything I have to say is just satire, so share this video with someone who thinks that this is the coolest guy in the world. Leave a like to boost this video in the algo, and follow for more silly videos like this.
Saying she was a lizard lady. Excuse me about that. That's what she said. You released a statement saying the queen is still the queen and no, she's not human. That's what you said. Then you took it off the website. This was years and years and years ago. But I found it, and when they were rolling her lifeless vessel through the streets of London, on the news, Diana's spirit came through and basically poked fun at the fact that she fucked up her own ritual. The queen, that is. Yeah, that was Diana's voice. I'll show you. You tell me who you think this is.
The death is irreversible, and the fact that she's
As you can see,
death is irreversible, and the fact that she's
That's another compilation for the global community. Man, what was your favorite narrative? That was a good one, not gonna lie. We're gonna keep going down these rabbit holes, disassociating from that indoctrination the system tried to give us. But now we see it clear, and we're gonna get to it. One person will never know everything, but as a collective, we're gonna figure it all out. You know I am Cash, capital K, $sign for this.